Hello and welcome back to Rain Check. We will be continuing where we left off, which if you recall is Javier's route. We will actually be finishing off Javier's route and this will be his good ending. So if you recall the previous ending, which was obviously the bad ending, had Javier trying to figure some stuff out by himself, and he was told to do this by Lawrence, who turns out to be a bad guy. At the very least, that's what he appears to be. And he ends up dying, obviously. So this time around, he decided to, I guess, tag up with Theodore and Theodore's little friend. They ended up dropping off what's-his-face at a hospital. But yeah, it's basically Javier and Theodore, and if I recall correctly in the previous video, Theodore was learning about what... Oh, I forgot the name of the organization already. What they're all about. And it seems that they are... not exactly the good guys? Oh, Blackout. They're not exactly the good guys, but they're not the bad guys either. They're more like the gray area type of people. And Javier right now is trying to make contact with... Oh, I forgot his name. The Arctic Fox. The one that he called a daddy. And he's trying to do this discreetly because he wants to talk with him before he ends up, I guess, allowing Blackout to talk to the Arctic Fox. My god, I can't talk. But yeah. So that's where we are right now. But like I said, this is the conclusion of Javier's good route. So after this will be Row. Anyways, also, before I continue, I would like to say thank you to the people who anonymously bought me the last 3 books that I had on my throne list. I probably will put more books in there. But yeah, thank you. I do know that one of them might be Avery Perez. I don't remember if anybody else's name was on there. But yeah, thank you. Anyways, I'm gonna need to buy a bookshelf to put all the books. Anyways, but yeah, so let us continue Rain Check and finish out Javier's good route. Well, what is the matter? How can I tell him without raising any cause for concern? The contract, the deal, the signing, it was wrong. Wrong? Everything is in place, is it not? That's what I thought too, but I'll just cut straight to it. How much do you know about Blackout? Blackout. The fox strokes his chin for a moment before nodding slowly. Yes, Blackout. That is correct. I know about this Blackout. In an email. And what was this email about? I do not remember fully. The details are sparse. Only to come an hour earlier. You mean at the Speakeasy, the library? Correct. Do you have the email with you now? Could you show me? I do not understand this worry and significance. You come to meet me for one email? I can see your worries on your face. Help me understand what is wrong. I think you've been set up. You're a man of great power, and there are those who would try to use and influence you. I suspect the email that you received is in relation to that. Are you saying that the email was not sent by Blackout? I spoke with them earlier and they never mentioned sending an email, let alone ask you to come an hour earlier. This sounds like you were set up. Which is why Blackout is requesting to discuss the deal with you again and... wait a second. If you didn't sign the document with Blackout, then who was it? I try to think back to that night. We were sitting in this very room too. There wasn't anyone out of place, not that I could spot. The typical business bigwigs with Magnus besides him. Definitely nobody there from Blackout that I recognize. Opix. Magnus's sudden low tone interrupts my thinking and I stare up at him blankly. OPEX? One of the men. I assumed the men were from Blackout, but one of them I recognized from OPEX. If it is not Blackout, then my best guess is OPEX. OPEX? You mean the research center? I do not know. Their business card had OPEX on it. Well, do you still have that on you? Haha, I do not keep such trivial things. I had disposed of it already. Damn. So you come here asking me to give funding once again to the real Blackout? Am I correct? Yes. I had no other choice. I had to come find you or else. They have someone hostage. I swallow my words, trying my best to remain calm as the thought leaving Theodore behind haunts my mind. Concerning. And those lines outside, they are not friendly, I can tell. They're making sure that I don't pull a fast one. Javier, you put me in a terrible situation. I have reputation, and canceling the contract is not good for business. But... I grit my fangs nervously as he's deep in thought when suddenly an idea springs to mind. You just need to have a meeting with them. You can tell them about the situation. The only stipulation that I had was to find you and arrange a meeting between you two. Are you sure? If they know that I have no interest in signing another contract, then what will become of you? That is too dangerous. The fox reaches out and strokes my arm as I try my best not to recoil. I will compromise something and speak with them. But on one condition. What is it? I get to spend some time with you again. I can feel my face warm and swell from embarrassment as Magnus gives me a slight wink, and to think that I'd have to offer myself up in a time like this. What? You can't be serious. Now? Yes. You know that I am interested in you. I stare at Magnus, but my ears flatten as I realize that I'm not really in any position to negotiate. I let out an involuntary shiver. My mind races. Theodore is still in danger. The lions are watching my every move, and now Magnus is demanding. Me, of all things? I chew the inside of my cheek, torn between desperation and something. Embarrassment? Fear? Maybe both. I glance aside, trying not to meet Magnus's gaze, but his presence is overwhelming with the way that he looms over me. These billionaires, they're all the same. You can't be serious right now. People's lives are at stake, including Theodore's. Do you think that I don't understand that? You came to me for help, and I am offering it, but in return, I want time with you. I glare at him, anger and anxiety knotting in my chest. You really think that I'm in any position to refuse? I know you are not, but you must know that I would not hurt you, Javier. This arrangement does not have to be unpleasant. I shift my weight from one paw to the other, my ears pinned back. A mix of shame and frustration flares inside of me. I can't believe what's being asked of me. So that's it? You'll talk to them? If I'm yours for a while? Don't say it like such, as I am not forcing you, but it's true. I will handle this predicament. In return, we spend some time together. A tense silence hangs between us. My heart thuds in my chest as I look away. I hate how powerless I feel right now. Theodore. I'm doing this for Theodore and Ro. It's just a bit with Magnus, right? I can handle that. Can I? I glance back at him, uncertain. You could have asked for literally anything else. Perhaps. But remember, you came to me, little fox. I close my eyes for a brief second, letting out a shaky breath. Fine. In that case, please follow me. Magnus opens a door, motioning me to exit. The two lions' eyes immediately dart towards me as they stand tentatively from across the room. We will move to a more comfortable room for discussion. The large fox signals a lines to halt as we approach an adjacent room. Please do not follow. This is private matters. Oh, yay, you're automatically skipping it. Mr. Javier, Big Gus, there you guys are. I was looking everywhere for you. And bored. Ugh, I forgot that he was waiting outside. Thankfully, it looks like he's just as clueless as ever. Yes, we just finished talking about important business. Oh, what happened? Did you guys make a deal? We made a deal, yes. Magnus reaches into his pocket, pulls out a small phone, and starts dialing a number into it. Hello? The fox starts speaking in a language that I am not familiar with, and I'm only able to pick out the words Blackout from the whole exchange. It is done. Please tell your bodyguards to send an ambassador over. Right. I straighten sleeves and comb my fur as I make my way over to the two grunts. Well, what took so long? His voice is rough and stained with anger as one stares me down. The other wrinkles his nose with disgust. We, had important matters to discuss. The bottom line is, he's here and willing to speak with your boss. Without a word, one of the lines gets up and makes their way out of the room. Hey, where are they going? Stay put. Someone will be here shortly. What about Theodore? He's fine. If he's fine, then let me speak with him. No. That won't be possible at this time. What the hell does that mean? I brought you guys to Magnus. This wasn't part of the deal. This wasn't part of the deal either. What? I don't take orders from a faggot like you. Got it? Now sit the fuck down and wait, or we'll call off the deal. I squint hard at the line before ultimately shaking my head, trying to humor the thought of his idiocy. Fine. I'll sit, but I'm guessing you won't mind if I just tell your boss about this little exchange when I see him. I'll let him know how you want to jeopardize the entire dealing, all because of your little fit. The lion's expression suddenly changes. A look of worry spreads across his face. Hey, there's no need to do that. Not so tough now, huh? You know what? Fine. Since I'm feeling so generous, I'll call them right now. These fools are all the same. Threaten to report them to their boss, and they suddenly behave. I force myself not to smirk as he reaches into his pocket and pulls out his phone. Without saying another word, he calls some number and puts the phone to his ear. Huh. It's not going through. What do you mean it's not going through? The lion tries dialing the number again but shakes his head. It's not going through. They must be on their way. Are you sure? I'm positive. It doesn't seem like this guy is lying. At least, he wouldn't dare to lie at this point. I roll my eyes in annoyance. It's fine. Unfortunately, there's not much that I can do besides wait. Ugh. When did these two sneak up behind me? Hey, Mr. Javier. Are you and your bodyguard okay? You look annoyed. What is going on? I glare back at the stupid lion who's sitting nervously. I feel the knot in my stomach tighten as the mere thought of idly waiting for Theodore to arrive eventually draws a sigh from me. It's nothing. I'm just exhausted. Sorry. I need a sit. Magnus's broad arms wrap around my waist, helping stabilize me to a sofa nearby. What happened? That's the thing. Nothing is happening. I tried to see if Theodore was okay, but the call didn't go through. I understand. Please, sit. David, get them some water? Sure, let me just... We ran out of the Magic Diamond water brand, so I hope that you don't mind drinking regular hotel bottled water. Magic Diamond water? Never mind. I don't even want to know. I take the bottle from him and practically collapse onto the sofa as I sit down, trying my best to remain as composed as possible. I will give you some time alone. I need to make some calls. Without another word, Magnus nods to the both of us before walking off. Hey, Mr. Javier. Yes? I can tell that you're really upset about something. I don't want to sound too nosy, but do you want to talk about it? I learned recently that talking about your problems helps you deal with them. Recently? How did you deal with your problems before? With money, of course. Why did I even ask? Well, it's fine. I'm fine. I just need to wait for Theodore to arrive. The reindeer jumps up, waving his arms in excitement. He's coming? When? That's what I want to know too. Is it just him? No, he should be arriving with some other people. Oh, is this business stuff? Let me guess. It's the stuff that you and Big Gus were talking about? Are you guys going to have another meeting? Technically you aren't wrong. I think I get it now. It'll be okay, Mr. Javier. Big Gus is super friendly. I'm sure that he'll be very supportive in the meeting with you. I remember the time that my dad brought him along for my very first meeting. I was just as nervous as you, if not even more. But it all worked out in the end, don't worry. I nod slowly, not sure what to think more or laugh. Right. Despite him not knowing the situation, I find some comfort in the words that he says. Thanks, David. Of course, a friend of Mr. Theodore is a friend of mine. I still don't understand why this guy is so obsessed with Theodore, but I won't question it. If you don't mind me, I'd like to sit here alone and reflect before Theodore arrives. You got it, mister. If you need anything, just ask. I'll be over there taking more photos. My body goes numb as it tries and processes what emotion I should be feeling, all while my brain figures out the best next step. As painful as it sounds, there's nothing left for me to do but to wait. Theodore. Bro. You two better be fine, or I'm gonna be so pissed off. I stare at the ceiling, bored out of my mind. These dots on the ceiling tile look like a car, and these dots look like some clouds. Oh, that one over there looks like a... I stop myself and let out a groan. What am I even doing? And more importantly, how long are they planning on keeping me here? I decide to get up from the couch and eye the kitchen cabinets. Maybe there's something in there that I can use to get out of here? A fork? A knife? Anything? And if anyone comes in, I'll just say that I was looking for food. I nod, reassuring myself that my plan was decent enough. I walk over and open some drawers, my eyes occasionally flicking back to the exit door in case it suddenly opens. Nothing. Nothing here either. I continue opening and closing cupboards and drawers, hoping to find something that might help me escape. I pull open a drawer and it's practically barren besides a singular metal fork. It's bent in half. Did Slade do this? Or someone else? Either way, it's not going to be of any use to me in this current state. And they call this a kitchen? There's nothing here. Without a second wasted, I close the drawer and continue searching, but end up finding nothing else. Even the fridge has been emptying out of the most part. For a kitchen, there isn't much here besides a few appliances and the TV. Ah, that's right. The TV. I've been holding off on turning it on, not wanting to cause any trouble, but the boredom in me is winning. There's no remote for the machine, so I walk over and turn it on manually, then slouch back onto the couch, grateful that there is at least something to do to pass the time. The screen opens to some news reporters standing next to a group of people holding signs protesting in front of a large building. It looks like they're being interviewed, but I can't make out what they're saying with the TV being muted. I continue watching half-interestedly, my eyes bouncing between the TV and the door as the broadcasts continue until a familiar figure appears on screen for a split second. Is that Deanna? I squint in disbelief, but before I can get a good look, the segment ends and the broadcast goes on commercial. What the hell was Deanna doing there? Guess that she must be involved with the protest or something. Or maybe that wasn't her, but her fur and her hair are unmistakable. I shake my head and get up, staring at the clock hung at the top of the wall. It's already been a couple of hours and there's still been no sign of anyone or anything. This waiting is killing me. Huh? What was that? I walk over to the door and place an ear on it, hoping to hear the sound better. There's nothing but... hello? Is someone out there? I wait, expecting some kind of reply, but there's nothing. Not even the noise is present. Is anyone there? The door suddenly swings open, causing me to stumble backwards in surprise. Hey, son, watch it. You could have been hurt. The large gator walks in and scans the room briefly before unleashing a hearty chuckle. And here I thought you'd tear up the place waiting. I've just been watching the TV. We both glance over at the TV. That's now displaying nothing but static. Right. Well, I'm here to let you know that your friend managed to lead us to Magnus. A wide grin grows from my face, and I practically leap up in joy from hearing the news. Really? Does that mean that I'm free to go? Yes, really. We will release you, just not yet. We still technically need you. As part of the deal, I'm gonna need something that the Fox most certainly knows. Which means that you'll be coming along with us to see Magnus. It should be easier for you anyway. We're practically taking you directly to your friend. Right. Good. But before that, the boss is back and he wants to talk with you privately. I swallow hard and can feel the blood fading from my face as a knot forms in the pit of my stomach. I'm not in trouble, am I? Boss was in a good spirit, so I say that it's good news. The gator opens the door and motions me out. After you. The gator guides me down the hallway, his steps loud and firm as he trails right behind me. Right here. He points to a set of familiar brown doors that I had exited from earlier. Slate leans forward and knocks before opening the door. Why do I have a bad feeling about this? Slate closes the door behind me and I'm left precariously standing in the room. That's weird. I was expecting at least a bodyguard or something. There as you are. The Fox kept his word and I'm happy, so I'll make this quick. He paces back and forth behind the desk. Is it just me or is he acting much more hesitant than he was earlier? Before we head out, this is yours now. He points to a mysterious small brown envelope covered in a plastic zip bag on the corner of his desk. What is that? It don't matter what's inside. It's yours now, and you won't open it until you're out of our sights. Got it? It would be a shame to see one of my own kind get hurt. Us tigers are smarter than that. Agree? Okay. This is extremely suspicious, but what choice do I really have? I walk over and take the zip bag as nonchalantly as possible and stuff it into my pocket. There is a slight crunch as the contents inside fit inside, but I pretend not to notice. Good. And just because I like you, you should dispose of it immediately when you can. Or else, curiosity might kill this kitty. Now we leave. He presses something underneath his desk, which causes the door to open behind me. Done so soon? Thought you guys would take longer. No, we have places to be. Well, judging how fast things went, it doesn't seem like you're in any trouble. He gives me a firm pat on the back. Now let's meet up with your friend. I have a feeling that he'll be happy to see you alive. I'm led to the back with Slate motioning me to a large black van. After you, son. I slide in but almost immediately stop dead when I see Helix sitting in the back. I guess the tiger boss is in another car. He turns to stare at me, watching my next move as I'm frozen in place. Come on, don't be shy. He's not gonna hurt you. I'll make sure of it. I settle in the back, trying my best not to pay Helix any attention as Slate starts the car up and slowly speeds off onto the road. It's kind of hard to focus on anything besides the letter at this point. I glance over and notice Slate's eyes fixed on the road, while Helix's are closed as he naps. I know that I'm not allowed to open it, but no one said that I couldn't feel what's inside, and this might be my only opportunity to do so. I slip a paw down my pocket trying to feel the contents through the plastic. If there's anything in there that isn't paper, I really can't feel it. There has to be something inside there, something incriminating, something so law-breaking that they need someone like me to dispose of it for them. I shift my weight, trying to get a better feel of each corner of the ladder. No, there really isn't anything. But if it's just a piece of paper, what the hell could it be? Are you enjoying yourself? I freeze in place, my face suddenly heating up as a snow leopard's gaze pierces my side. It's not what it looks like. You just couldn't wait until we set you free to start touching yourself, huh? People like you make me sick. What? No. You don't understand. I was just... Ugh. I was just trying to feel what's in my side pocket, cuz... Helix, leave the poor boy alone. We both know someone like him wouldn't act like that in a time like this. Need I remind you of his negative score? Helix narrows his stare at me before seemingly immediately losing interest. Don't think that I don't know that. I'm just trying to have some fucking fun. Besides, we know what's inside his pocket. It's the receipt boss was talking about disposing earlier this week. Receipt? I would stop talking right there if you know what's good for you. The snow leopard turns to look at me with a shit-eating smirk. You're welcome for the info. So they purchased something illegal and need to dispose of the receipt? But then, why would they get a receipt for something when they know that they're going to dispose of it? I force a chuckle and give a weak smile as I think of an excuse. No, it was just poking the sides of my leg. Say what you want, but your paw prints are all over that now. Better do a good job in getting rid of that if you don't want to be jailed. I swallow hard, the smile on my face quickly fading as I take my paw out of my pocket. That's enough. I don't want to hear any more from you until we arrive. I let out a deep breath and stare out the window, the familiar sights of the cityscape slowly rising back into view. Please let this be over soon. This is the floor. I'm pushed out first from the elevator by Helix before the rest of them follow behind me. The hallway is quiet and dimly lit, and my footsteps echo on the tiled floor. One of the suited lines greets the boss and leads us down the hall. It feels extremely jarring to be here again, especially while being held hostage. And it doesn't help that Helix is breathing down my back and gripping my shoulder either. We eventually stop next to a set of large double doors, but rather than opening them, the line opens the nondescript door on the opposite side instead. Ah, Pendejo, I thought you were dead. Javier. Javier gets out from his chair and hurries over to examine me carefully. The rest of the Blackout members disperse inside the room, begin chatting with Magnus on the far side. You're not hurt, are you? No, I'm fine. They didn't torture you, did they? What? No. Waterboarding? Solar gazing? What? No. None of that. They didn't hurt me, thankfully. Seriously, I'm fine. I promise. Good. I was worried about you when they tried contacting you, but the line didn't go through. I mean, they did lock me up in the kitchen for a couple of hours. But that's about it. The fox stands on his toes to get a better look at my face, then steps on my foot. Ow! What was that for? Reaction time seems fine. Just double checking if you're actually fine. Or if they gave you any substances. Javier, please, I'm fine. I size up the fox, my brows furrowing at his demeanor. Well, what about you? How are you doing? Those stupid lying thugs didn't give you a hard time, did they? And more importantly, how'd you know Magnus was gonna be here? Those guys, nothing I can't handle. He was here the other night, and I infer that he'd be somewhere around this area. And yes, I'm doing fine. Better now that I know you're alive. Aw, Javier. It's unusual to see Javier this expressive and worried, but maybe it's because he knows that he nearly let me die. Aw, wait, you guys came here the other night? Yes, when we left the speakeasy. but we can talk about this later. We should let these gentlemen do the business. We look over and see Magnus and the tiger chuckling as they discuss who knows what, while Helix stands off to the side waiting. The air in the room feels tense and oddly formal. But where's Slate? I turn back to Javier and see the massive gator slowly approaching him from behind. Wait, that's right. I made a deal with... You must be Javier. Yes, that is correct. You are... Slate. I'm not sure if Theodore has mentioned it to you yet, but we made a deal. Javier shoots me a side-eye before returning his attention to the gator. No, he hasn't. Gah, that's fine. I guess it wasn't his top priority to tell you. I told him some info about Blackout, but in return, I want some data that I know you folks at ARC have. I see. And what makes you so sure that we have it? What if we don't? The Del Paskin incident. I know that you have this document somewhere in your archives. Del Paskin? It doesn't ring a bell. Are you sure that you're not thinking of something else? The incident where all 8 researchers disappeared on the oil rig in the Pacific? And why would ARC investigate something like that when it's in international waters? That's what I want to know. I can see confusion growing on Javier's face, but he shakes his head at last and shrugs. Well, I won't argue if you're so keen on saying that we have this info. I can go and retrieve it for you, but if it's not there then... There's no ifs. I know that it's there. Fine. Excellent. He will accompany you to retrieve the data. The gator points to Helix, who seems oblivious to our conversation from across the room. Javier turns to look at me, and that's when I finally speak up. Sorry, I was just curious to learn more about Blackout. So you decided to make a decision on my behalf? You know that's breaking the contract you signed. Yeah, I kinda forgot about that. Well, just be lucky that it wasn't anything important. I, for one, have never heard of this Del Paskin incident before, and I would have if it was related to our current investigation. If it's not related, why do you think Slate would want it? Hello? You think that I'd know? It's probably connected to something else that Blackout is involved in. We can talk about it later when we get back to my place. I need to amend my case report anyway. I knew it! That asshole ruining our plans like that. Who does he think he is? Uh-oh, that doesn't sound good. Hey, you're scaring our client. Calm down, would you? It is understandable, but please remain civil. Nah, so you're saying that shithead changed our meetup times? And then tried to take me out? No, but it does appear that way. Oh, that's rich. Who is this? Tiger said his name was Lawrence. Helix turns around and glares in my direction, making my heart jump. Yes, that's right. Lawrence. Tall, gray wolf. He wears a pair of smart glasses. I guess you can call it that. He was wearing a large black coat. Ron Picoglione. Put his name on the list. Fuck the list. I'm gonna take him out personally. You, Tiger, take me to Lawrence. But we don't even know where he could be. No. The tiger's voice is loud and firm, and the entire room goes silent. We let go of that tiger. I have already given him a task to do on the condition of his freedom. I do not need you to drag him around anymore. That is final. Do you understand me? Yes. You will accompany the fox first to retrieve Slate's data. There is a low growl from Helix as he crushes the pen in his paw with ease. I can feel the tension crackling in the air. Yes? Fine. The tiger smacks the back of Helix's head, causing me to flinch. No respect. The boss adjusts his sleeves and returns its attention to Magnus. Thank you. We will be in contact in the future. I look forward to seeing the potential returns. They exchange farewells. Slate and the tiger share a few words out of earshot. We'll be waiting, so I reckon you had best not waste our time. One of the line bodyguards opens a door for Slate and his boss to exit, leaving Magnus, Javier, Helix, and me behind. His voice is quiet, and we all turn to stare at the snow leopard. Tell me everything you know about Lawrence. Where can I find him? Where he works, where he lives, everyone he knows. And why would we tell you that? Because after we get Slate's stupid data, this son of a bitch is going down whether you help me or not. There is a sudden knock at another door from the other side of the room. Hey, Big Gus, Dad wants to know if you'll be free after this meeting. David? What are you doing here? Mr. Theodore, you're here! He runs towards me, but this time I'm ready for the sudden embrace from him, and I'm able to lean back just in time, avoiding his antlers. How did the meeting go? I heard from Mr. Javier that this one is very important. You could say that. Hey, who's this guy? David's eyes light up as he looks over at Helix, whose face is still darkened with anger. Ugh, I don't have fucking time for this rabble. I'm giving you guys 2 minutes to say your goodbyes. I'll be waiting outside. Helix shakes his head in annoyance as he storms out. Don't worry about that guy. He's just upset. Oh no, maybe he should talk it out with someone. That's what I do when I'm upset. I look over to Javier, who's subtly shaking his head as he taps his wrist with urgency. I think we should get going. Oh, leaving so soon? That's okay, you can go back tomorrow. I won't be here tomorrow, most likely anyway. I look at Javier one more time for reassurance before returning my gaze to the reindeer. I think I'll be heading home soon. But we had so much fun together. Can you stay for another day? No, I'm sorry, David. I have to go back home after all this. Aw, okay. But I'll never forget you, Mr. Gardner, Theodore. I'll even write an article about you, maybe 2, and I'll use the photos you took for my latest magazine. I cannot but chuckle. Javier suddenly grabs my arm and leads me towards the exit. We will keep in contact, Javier. Javier keeps walking, and for a moment it looks as if he's blushing. I look back and wave to David and Magnus. Sure thing, David. Take care, you guys. Crazy to think that I might actually miss the little guy. Get in. Don't try anything unless you want to get shocked. The interior is cramped. A stale smell of sweat and chemicals clings to the worn seats. The tinted windows block out most of the daylight, making it feel even more claustrophobic. We both try to slide into the back seat of the car as best as we can, our wrists still bound and pressed awkwardly against our sides. He points at the collars that he strapped on us just moments ago. I look over to Javier, who's rolling his eyes in annoyance while already trying to tamper with his bit flipper. Helix slides into the driver's seat and adjusts a few dials on his dashboard. A faint beeping sound comes from what looks like a custom security console. His piercing cold gaze lands on me through the rearview mirror. Where's your office? What's the route? Tss. Javier opens his mouth, only to hesitate before looking over at me. Drive to the highway and exit by the East Interchange. It's by the newly developed plaza. The car jolts forward, pulling out of the parking lot and swerving onto the main road in what quick motion. The engine rattles in protest, but Helix seems unfazed. Listen up. I'll be as civil as possible about this. You tell me everything that you know about Lawrence, and I'll let you two go after I get the data. Otherwise... He waves the remote in his paw, the one linked to our shock collars, taunting us. Yeah, we're not scared of your empty threats. We're not? I seen how you were around the gator, and something tells me that he wouldn't be happy if he found out the reason that he couldn't get the info was because of you. Ugh, would you shut the fuck up? The snow leopard raises his voice, his claws visibly digging into the steering wheel. A low growl rumbles from him, like he's barely holding back his anger. Just tell me about that fucking wolf. Are you trying to protect him or some shit? The wolf you're trying to look for has his personal data privatized in our database. And I don't know much about him besides the fact that he's well endowed. Helix and I both raise an eyebrow at Javier's last remark, which causes him to glare at us in disgust. I mean he's rich. Don't think that I meant anything else. I've never seen that man's penis and I never wish to. Right, but about his data, why would it be privatized? Unless he has something to hide? No employees at ARC can opt to have their personal information privatized in the database for legal reasons within the company. That doesn't mean that it's not there, but... Great. I don't give a fuck. Can you find it or not? It's privatized, right? Just decode the hash value with a standard 512-bit cipher to reverse the salt. Or do you even know what I'm saying? My eyes widen in surprise. I did not expect Helix to understand any of this. The mention of those technical terms from him feels bizarre. Maybe something like that would fly in Blackout, but we at ARC use a more sophisticated encryption scheme. What you're mentioning has been outdated for a decade now. It's all about integrating two-way noise quantum stenography now. Yeah? And that gets cracked right away with the 4-pass decoupler. You don't think that I know? You're smart. I'll give you credit for that, but your workplace doesn't have access to the latest tech from the black market. Javier remains silent, simmering in defeat, his face visibly annoyed that he doesn't have a comeback. Well, now that I know that, you better get a look up on Lawrence while we get the data. It's fine. I don't know what's crazier, the fact that Helix is smart, or that he actually one-upped Javier. And you, Tiger. My eyes dart to the front, where our gazes meet in the rearview mirror. His stare is deadly and unblinking. The engine rumbles beneath us, and for a moment it feels like the entire car vibrates with his tension. Yes? Never mind. What? Helix keeps driving, leaving me to wonder what the hell he was thinking. Well, it doesn't matter now. Once Javier gives the data over along with the Lawrence stuff, it'll all be over. It's all over. I shake my head at how easily I'm dismissing the danger. I wish that it was over, but there's still Ro. Maybe I should visit him one more time before I leave tomorrow. Maybe I could write him something. Thoughts cloud my mind like the darkening skies on the horizon. I try to focus on the scenery passing by, but everything is a gray blur. Now that it's quiet, I notice how reinforced this car is. Tinted windows and steel bars along the doors make it a fortress on wheels. The overhead light has been ripped out, leaving the back seat in near darkness. I'm not sure how long we've been driving. The endless stretch of road and the weight of my thoughts blur everything together. I glance at Javier, who still looks pissed after arguing with Helix. Hey Javier? I try to whisper as quietly as possible. The fox looks over and cocks a brow at me. It's about Ro. I was wondering if you wanted to join me after all this to check up on him. His expression changes in a split second. There is a flicker of unease in his eyes. Sure. What's the matter? Nothing. I've never seen Javier look this nervous before, not even while being held captive. It's nothing, really. It's just... Ro may have disappeared from the hospital. I stare at Javier, blinking several times in confusion, leaning closer to him. Disappeared? What do you mean he disappeared? Where'd he go? He was in the hospital. He was resting. And we both... Are you sure? I didn't want to bring it up, but it's true. The hospital called earlier. I'm just as confused as you. So what the hell are we supposed to do? I can hear everything you two are saying. Your shitty whispering isn't helping. My cheeks flush with embarrassment as I straighten up in my seat. I notice how my hands feel clammy against the cold metal cuffs. Save the shit for later. I don't want to hear it. Speaking of which, where the fuck is this office? I'm almost by the plaza. We're not going to the office. We'll be stopping by my house since I have copies there. Down this road, first apartment building on the right. The fox starts to shake his head, but then stops, eyes locked on the road. What? What is it? Wait, we just missed a turn. You're driving too fast. Ugh, you tell me this now? Fucking hell. Helix suddenly spins the steering wheel, forcing the car to do a complete 180 into the other lane. I don't know how we managed to miss every other car on the road, or how we didn't just flip over. Holy shit. What the hell are you doing? Trying to get us killed? Shut it. I'm trying to get us there as fast as possible. Faster this is done, the faster that I can move on from this shit. The snow leopard slams the gas pedal, forcing my body back against the seat. The roar of the engine drowns out everything for a moment. We weave through traffic, nearly sideswiping other cars. My heart feels like it's about to burst with every sharp swerve. In under a minute, we screech to a halt in front of Javier's apartment complex, but there is something eerily wrong with the scene. There is a crowd of onlookers staring at the building. We get out of the car and follow their gaze, and notice that there is a small gray trail of smoke flowing out of one of the windows ahead. Hey, look. I wonder what they're looking. Smoke? It looks like it's coming from... Javier's face twists from curiosity to dread as he continues walking forward. Looks like it's coming from my floor. Huh? What? Let me check the side of the building to be sure. Javier starts running ahead, bolting forward as fast as his bound wrists allow. Helix is already sprinting ahead of us, his tail whipping behind him. Suddenly the fox stops, staring wide-eyed at the building as he gets closer. No. No. It's my unit! The side door. Go. We need to get to my drivers. A strong headwind blows smoke in our faces. The smell is bitter and acrid, stinging my eyes and making it hard to breathe. What is that smell? Where the fuck is the side entrance? It's just around this corner. We need to get to room 408. Well, hurry up. I don't have all day. We run up the stairs as fast as we can, the alarm blaring loudly and lights flashing. The smoke grows heavier and more suffocating with every step. My lungs burn and each breath comes out ragged. Eventually, we reach the 4th floor with Helix in the lead. I can hear crackling from somewhere nearby. There. The fox points to his doorway at the end of the hall. Thick black smoke pours from the edges, making it almost impossible to see the handle. Ugh. Get these restraints off of us, you idiot. Without saying another word, Helix runs over and detaches them with a swift swipe of his paws. Fucking hell. Why is your place on fire? I don't know. But we need to get to those SSDs from my room. Then stop talking and move. We hurry to the door. Javier fumbles with his keys, cursing under his breath. Hey, what's the holdup? I don't know. The pins are jammed. The key isn't working. I'll need to pick this. We don't have time for that. Helix pulls out a gun and fires several rounds into the lock. Sparks fly on the door, shudders from the impact. The door rattles, then swings open, revealing a smoke-choked interior. The heat washes over me in a suffocating wave. There, now get to the data. I'll go inside and get it. No, I have to. You don't know what to get. I'll do it. It'll only take a moment. Javier steps into the swirling smoke, disappearing almost instantly. From the corner of my eye, I spot a gray figure dashing towards the fire escape across the hall. Wait, is that Lawrence? The black jacket and those glasses. It's definitely him. What? Why would he be here unless... Oh my god, he started the fire. Without another word, Helix runs down the hall after Lawrence. Wait! Shit, I shouldn't have said anything. Now Helix is gone. Now I'm alone in the hallway. The smoke burns my eyes and throat. Even crouching low barely helps. Damn it, what do I do? I can't leave Javier in there, can I? He's taking too long. It's been over a minute. Fuck it, I'm going in. I hold my breath and rush into the apartment, using my sleeve to block the worst of the toxic smell. It does little to protect me. I've been here before, but now I can barely recognize anything through the dense haze. Shadows flicker on the walls. I spot a bright glow, which must be the fire spreading somewhere deeper inside. Wait, the envelope. I might not have another chance. I fumble in my pocket and pull out the plastic, my hands shaking from adrenaline and the heat. Part of me wants to open it, but there's no time. Whatever they gave me is probably incriminating, and this might be my only chance to destroy it. I hurl the envelope towards the flickering glow, watching it vanish in the swirling smoke. Javier! Where are you? A sudden bang echoes behind me. I stagger towards it, half blinded by the fumes. Help! I slam into the wall. It might be a door, but my vision is blurred and my eyes sting too much to tell for sure. Theodore? Helix? Help! Someone! I'm inside my room! I find Javier pinned beneath one of the display cases. The smoke is thinner here, so I managed a quick gasp of air. My lungs are grateful for even that small relief. Help! I'm stuck! I kneel down, summoning all my strength to lift the object off of him. My muscles ache and my head feels light from the lack of oxygen. I can move. He scrambles to his feet, coughing, and scoops up several hard drives scattered across the floor. Javier, we don't have time. We need to go. But the data... The data doesn't mean anything if we get roasted alive. Javier shoves a few more drives into his jacket. Hold your breath. I swing open the door only to be greeted by the blast of thick, pitch-black smoke. It pours out and hits me in the face, stinging my eyes until they water uncontrollably. Shit, I know I took a few turns to get here, but how am I supposed to get out of here when I can't see? Javier suddenly grabs my paw and pulls me forward, guiding me into the churning haze. Thank God he knows his way around his place. I can't even see my own body when I look down. Despite the suffocating darkness, there is a glow flickering across the room, growing brighter by the second. It's the fire, but somehow it looks almost unreal in the murk. Crap, Javier, you need to move faster. We start running around the corner, at least I think that we are. But then, I feel us turning again. And then again? God, I hope that we're not going in circles. After a few more seconds in the inferno, I feel the texture of the ground change slightly. Are we in the hallway now? I can't tell. The fire is spreading really bad and fast. I can feel the air getting hotter and hotter, the fire slowly consuming and burning the foundation nearby, causing several thuds as things collapse nearby. There is a sudden violent tug on my arm that yanks me off balance. My feet slip on the scorched, ash-dusted floor, and I go sprawling onto the ground. I land hard right on top of Javier. He's beside me, coughing in pain as I scramble to roll off of him. I clamp my mouth shut, desperate not to inhale the toxic air, but it's no use. The acrid smoke forces its way into my lungs. Each breath feels like swallowing shards of glass, and a violent cough erupts from deep inside of me. Every gasp only drags in more scorching smoke, slicing into my chest like 1,000 tiny knives. I press my face into my sleeve, hoping to filter out the worst of it. For a moment it helps, but the relief is painfully brief. A terrible sinking feeling settles in my gut, dread twisting my insides. This is it. I'm gonna suffocate. I'm gonna die. Suddenly, a surge of memories washes over me, forcing me to relive moments of my life as vivid scenes flicker through my mind. The time that I cried for hours on end after my father's funeral. The time Coulson gave up on me. The time that I had to fight with my mom. The time that I booked a vacation to escape my troubles. The time that I met Ro. The time that I got those texts. The time that Ro gave me a chance. The time that Ro saved my life. The time that Javier was there for me. I try to hold back the tears, but I can't. And this is how I die. A slow, gruesome death. All because I wanted to do things my own way. Why couldn't I just have stayed home and listened? I'm sorry. I start to claw at my throat as the pain in my chest becomes nearly unbearable. Suddenly there is a cool gust of air. It rushes over my face, dispelling the smoke around me long enough for me to take a breath. At the same time, a warm glow flickers through the stifling dark. What? What's going on? I can still hear the fire, but... I summon the last of my strength to crack my eyes open, still watering from the tears and smoke. Through the swirling haze, I catch a glimpse of the towering silhouette. My pulse pounds in my ears. The figure lurches closer, the light behind it framing broad shoulders and a determined expression, though I can barely see. Hope flutters in my chest, but I'm so delirious with pain and suffocation that I can't believe what I'm seeing. Ro? There is no way. I must be hallucinating. His voice booms through the chaos. Javier! My vision blurs again, the smoke burning my eyes until I slam them shut. All at once, my body becomes weightless as I'm suddenly hoisted in the air. A dizzy, nauseating lightness overtakes me. Am I floating or losing consciousness? I can't tell. My heart slams against my chest and everything tilts. Everything around me, the flames, the wreckage, the choking haze fades into an echo. The roaring in my ears goes distant, like I'm underwater. For a moment, it sounds like I'm outside. I can hear the wind, the sirens, the murmur of people. Then, in a terrifying instant, silence. Ah, that's my sign to go. I quickly put away the tools, set the flowers back on the shelf, and wash my paws. You're heading home already? No. I'm heading to my therapist today. It's every Friday, remember? Ah, yeah. Well, you take care and enjoy the weekend. Thanks. I take my belongings and walk my usual path exiting the community center, heading straight to the bus stop. The early afternoon sun filters through the windows, and I can smell freshly trimmed grass outside. Hopefully I'm early enough this week. I still can't believe that I missed it last week. With that thought in mind, I quicken my steps until I see my stop in sight. Hey. Keep moving, it's just another homeless guy asking you for money. Theodore. See, I told you that he'd be here. Huh? Wait, that voice. Javier? Ro? What the heck are you guys doing here? We came to see how you were doing. We would have come sooner, but I've been preoccupied with internal restructuring at work. And, well, this guy's been dealing with rehab. It was actually his idea to see you. Oh. Come on, say something, you buffoon. You wouldn't stop talking about seeing Theodore, and now he's here. I shift my attention to Ro, who's been avoiding eye contact with me the entire time. Theodore. How are you? I'm doing well. How about you? I see you have a cane now. I force a chuckle, trying to think of anything to say. This whole thing? Yeah. The doctors wouldn't let me leave until I had one, and insisted that I carry it around a bit until my back fully heals. Jesus Christ, you guys are so awkward. Please, I am dying from secondhand embarrassment over here. Ro taps Javier's back with a cane before rolling his eyes. Ow! I told you to stop doing that. Actually, there's been something that I've been meaning to ask. What happened that day? The fire. It was you, right? I didn't dream it up, did I? It was me. I found you two on the floor. So I picked you two up on my shoulder and carried you out. That's all that I can really remember because I blacked out after that. Ugh, this guy. Talk about insane. I was worried sick about you disappearing from the hospital and then you suddenly appear out of nowhere. Let's not forget the fact that you were severely injured already. But he did save us, so I guess it cancels out. Are you okay now? Better. This idiot went into a coma for 3 days after that. Wait. How did you even know how to find us? Apparently, the photo that we showed him in the hospital was enough to trigger some kind of reaction in him. That photo. I knew that it was Dust Cafe. I thought that if I went, I could make sense of everything. But when I arrived, Dust obviously was concerned and drove me to Javier's place, since he wasn't picking up his phone. And that's when you saw the fire? Ro nods slowly, thinking carefully as he strokes his chin. Once I saw where the fire was coming from in the building, I figured that Javier was in trouble. So I ran in. That's what crazy levels of adrenaline can do to you. Enough about me. How about you? You weren't in the same hospital as us, were you? No. Apparently I was flown to one for intensive care. One of my lungs was apparently partially deflated, but I'm okay now. I see. And what about your family? They must have been worried sick. I look away and shrug. Yeah. I'm living with a friend for now. I got into a huge fight with my mother when I came home. I let out a huge sigh. I got kicked out. So there's that. I'm sorry to hear that. Don't be. I think it's for the better. Considering... I stare at the ground and kick a pebble, trying to think of something to change the topic. I know you wanted to change the topic for yourself, but... how's your memory now? Can you remember? The wolf winces before shrugging it off. Here and there. It comes and goes. He doesn't remember his past, mainly just the last 4 years. Sometimes I recall something about my childhood, but it's all fragmented and sporadic. But I do remember you, Theodore. He places upon my shoulder and smiles. Bro, you saved my life twice now. I don't know how I can ever repay you. There's no need. We're just happy that you're safe. Speaking of which, I hope that we're not holding you up for anything. No, of course not. Javier rummages through his pocket and holds out a business card. Good, because part of the reason that we came was to offer you a job at Outr. Assuming you're interested. My gaze bounces between the two, my jaw dropping completely. Huh? Really? But... don't worry. I know what you're thinking. This position isn't for anything serious. There's no field work. I remember you told me that you were looking for a job. Ever since the restructuring, we've been looking for more staff. Would you be interested in doing evidence management work? Seriously? But I don't even think I'm qualified. The boss knows about you, and he thinks that you might be a great fit. Well... I'm currently volunteering at the gardens at the community center, but... there's no rush. Give it some thought. My new number's on the card. Oh. And if you were planning on joining, just letting you know that Lawrence no longer works for us anymore, if that's a concern of yours. Rose shrugs apathetically, but his face seems to tell a different story. Ah, that's right. I nearly forgot about him. What happened? You mean besides the fact that he nearly killed us both? We don't know, but if he ever shows his face again, we have enough evidence gathered to arrest him. Seems like he's been some kind of double agent for a while now. Going as far as to light my entire house on fire. Ah, that's right. I swear that I saw Lawrence by the stairwell when Helix and I were waiting for you in the hallway that day. It all makes sense now. But how did you know? You were inside. One of my hidden cameras survived the inferno, and it shows part of his tail clear as day. I'm pretty sure that he put some kind of wiretap tracker in my house, otherwise those coincidences would be too significant. Well, what about the data? Is that settled with Slate? Ah. He appeared in my hospital room one morning and said that he didn't need them anymore. So it seems like we risked our lives for nothing. I shake my head in shock. That's crazy. Rose's large paw suddenly lands on my head and starts ruffling my fur. Ah, what's that for? Let's find a place to sit and catch up. I'd rather not stand around the streets for too long. My back is starting to ache. Agreed. Well, I know this park across the street. We could go there. Lead the way. Okay. Ending ambiguous. So, technically speaking, I guess, unless there was another ending, which I can't I can't check because I don't have access to the script files like I usually do. I mean, it would be nice if I could. It helps with editing. Just let me have them, please. I promise that I won't go looking where I shouldn't. But anyways, I'm guessing the reason why it's ambiguous is because it's like it ends okay. They're all alive. They're all fine, I guess. But like you don't really know what happened. You don't know what information Slate needed and why he needed it. You don't know if Helix caught up with Lawrence. As far as we know, Lawrence is in the wind, meaning that, you know, he's elsewhere and free. We really don't know anything. We know that Blackout made a deal, presumably, with Magnus. I was about to call him Daddy Fox. But we really don't know anything. But technically speaking, I guess that's okay, and I kind of like it that way, where you have a story where you kind of have to go through the different paths before you get any, you know, actual conclusive information. And I'm assuming that because, well, I'm assuming Ro is the next character's route to be written, and it's gonna end up going through his bad route first before we get the good route. So I'm assuming any more information that we're gonna get from Ro's bad route first, and then his good route. And I can already hear people saying like, but I want his good route. I want to be with Ro. Ro is hot. I want to be with Ro. Shut up. I kind of feel that makes more sense to go through the bad before you get to the good routes, or at least the good endings, because you get to reveal more information that way. So it makes more sense to do it that way. I'm curious what we're gonna learn in his good route. Are these like Patreon people? Anywho, I will admit it did start a little... I wasn't really liking the relationship between Ro and Theodore. Today's the big day. I'm so excited that I can barely contain myself. Is this Theodore starting with, the agency? I double-check my tie in the rearview mirror and adjust my collar one last time for good measure. I told you already, you look fine. I know, but I can't help it. I want to make a good first impression. Let's get lunch with Ro, if you're not swamped with training later. Oh? He's working in the office? I thought he's at rehab still. Just got discharged last week. He says that he's been excited to see you again. Really? Anyways, see you later this afternoon. I have important things to catch up with. Wait. Thanks for making this happen. I know you had your doubts about me, but I'm glad that it all worked out. And I'm sorry about what happened to your place. Please, we've been over this, Theodore. It's not that big of a deal. But your plane collection... Yes, I know, but I'm just happy to be alive at this point. And you should be happy that you are too, you idiot. I guess. He stares at me, but then softens his expression before patting my arm. Now hurry up, we're meeting up with the boss in 10 minutes. Huh? We are? No, I was just trying to be funny. Did it work? I think you should save the joking to Ro. Everyone's a critic. He shakes his head but chuckles as he makes his way towards the building. Despite everything that's happened, I think I'm gonna enjoy my time working at ARC. Rain check. You know what? Thinking of Javier, one of the only criticisms that I have is that he doesn't speak Spanish enough. And the reason for this is because, if I recall correctly, he's from Mexico City, CDMX. Which means that he would be speaking Spanish a lot. But yeah. So, maybe in the future, when you're writing when you're writing Javier, like, have him speak a little bit more Spanish. Say, pendejadas. Say majaderías. Just a thought. Make him a little bit more Mexican, please. But yeah. Anywho, just for the people that didn't realize that, Javier was Hispanic. He's Mexican. He's literally from Mexico City. In the state of Mexico. Ciudad Mexico. Anyways, what else? That's my only criticism of Javier. I just want him to speak more Spanish, please. If you need help, I know plenty of people that would, literally said, just have him say this in this scenario. Have him say this. Anyway, what else? Obviously, Ro still has a thing for Theodore, which I'm pretty sure we're gonna see of a lot more in his, little routes endings things. He's a lot more, probably... Well, you know what I mean. Am I looking forward to that? I'm hoping that they're not just constantly flirting. I'm kidding. I do want to know more about what's going on, because we just got little tidbits. We got little bits and pieces about what Blackout is doing. There's apparently another conspiracy or another thing going on in the background with what Slate wanted to know, but apparently he figured it out, later. Again, the whole Helix thing, not Helix, Lawrence thing, how he's involved with who he is actually involved with, etc., etc. I'm curious to know, or to see, how Ro is going to go about, trying to investigate Blackout, if they're going to be just as abrasive, if not more so, because, they're going to be dealing with a big wolf instead of, tiny little Javier and medium-sized Theodore. Yeah. Anywho, write down in the comments what you think, and thank you all for watching / listening. If you would like to play Rain Check yourself, you can do so by going down into the link in the description, where you can get a direct link to the itch.io page where you can download the game. And obviously they do have a Patreon, so if you want to support the project, you can do so by going down into the other link, which, takes you to Patreon, where you can subscribe and get early access to builds of Rain Check and whatever other stuff they may offer, probably be some behind the scenes and whatever else. Usually that's what, every Patreon group offers. So, do that if you want that. Dogs. Always barking at the wrong times. Anywho, so yeah. Also, in case you want to become a channel member, there's the link down in the description. And Throne. Somebody recently bought a whole bunch of... Oh, I already said that at the beginning. I don't need to mention that again. But Throne is there, so yeah. Ko-fi too, yeah. But yeah, I guess that's it for now, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.